I'm leaving that in the beginning. So, welcome back to another episode of Just a Bit of Banter. I am here with the boys mysteriously off camera right now because technical
Mysteriously off camera
difficulties.
because his
So,
internet's trash.
He's got that
internet's
dial-up.
not trash. I just
Yes,
have multiple people using multiple devices in my house right now. So,
my
is
internet
what it
can
is,
handle that.
but we're rolling.
We're rolling.
In any case, welcome
We are a
back.
family of
How was
4.
y'all Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was great this year. How was yours,
Yeah?
George? Yeah.
Dude, mine
The
was
bar
good,
is.
man.
Yeah, you eat lots of turkey.
It was good. Just went down to see the parents, took the kiddos out there.
Where are your parents at?
California.
Oh, okay.
More SoCal area. So we stayed there for a week.
Hey.
Had tons of food, saw some family. It was good, man. Saw my cousins, my sister, mom, dad. It was good, man. Had a lot of food, so I was happy.
Gang. Patrick, what about you? What'd you do?
It was good. I had like my first year in a long time of 2 Thanksgivings, probably
shit.
ever, to be
2
honest.
Thanksgivings.
Yeah, so I've ever since my dad passed, I host. So, but my family's really small, so I just had like my mom and my sister and the girlfriend over for Thanksgiving. So we celebrated and we ate pretty early, probably around, I don't know, one or two,
Mhm.
and then hung out for a little bit, quick nap, and then we were off to my girlfriend's parents' house, and we from like 5 to, I don't know, 5 to 9, and just did like a second Thanksgiving over there.
You're
it
still
was a lot of
hiccuping
fun.
from all of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You sound like one of
yeah.
those cartoons that was drunk too much. The hip ups.
I definitely had my fair share of drink on the during Thanksgiving. That's for
There
sure.
you go. There you go.
Do share. What is that?
My fair share of drink.
Yeah. What are we drinking now?
Don't be teasing us, dude. You tell us, man. Spill the beans.
Bro, I was just having. I think I had
He was
some
having like an
glasses of
He had a
wine.
wine cooler. He had a wine cooler.
like a mojito.
No,
or
I
shit like
actually
that.
had a couple glasses of wine.
Of course, rosé
hey,
with
why-
ice cubes.
It was a red.
You and your rosé. I had a Malbec actually. Thank you.
Okay.
So good, red.
Okay.
I'm no wine connoisseur.
Sturdy,
but-
nice sturdy broad Malbec.
Nice sturdy broad. Yeah.
That's fair.
Cool, man. Very good.
Well, I gotta tell you guys, this Thanksgiving was much better than last year, but I think that we were gonna kind of get into banter first and just kind of tell our worst Thanksgiving stories.
No, you were
This
going to
year
tell your
was
worst Thanksgiving
really-
story. I don't have a worst Thanksgiving
multiple.
story.
I have multiple worst
All
Thanksgiving
my
stories.
Thanksgivings are literally fantastic. So,
I love
I don't-
Thanksgiving so much, but it's always
dude, it's the best
been-
holiday. It's
a
literally
great
the best
holiday.
holiday.
It's a great holiday. So last year we spent Thanksgiving over at my middle sister's house, and we were there all day cooking away. Everything was fine. You know, my family tends to argue with each other, but that's just kind of normal. So that doesn't really necessarily make it a bad time.
That's
but
not very surprising. You're a
No.
very argumentative person.
I come from that. That's what I come from. So
That's why he's so annoying.
last year after Thanksgiving dinner, we were all walking out into the living room to just kind of like, groan and grumble and watch TV and all that, because I think the dog show was on. And we had this toy poodle named Cocoa Puff, and Cocoa Puff was getting on for 13 years. And Cocoa Puff promptly died following dinner. She just freaking keeled over as we were all walking in to the living room. My sister and my mom were sitting there crying because she just died. Just right there, just died promptly after dinner. She waited though, because she was the type of dog to eat crap. Like she had like pancreatitis at one time because she ate a bunch of tinfoil. We had to have her surgery like a bunch of times because that dog would eat a bunch of bullshit. But we finished our Thanksgiving dinner. That's not even the worst Thanksgiving that I've ever had. But I want to hear. I can't be the only one who has had terrible Thanksgivings. George, you have to have it the bad one.
well, God, I can't capitalize on a death pet, man. I do apologize. But you know, I'm a big fan of mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah.
Big fan. And you know, Greg, once we do our live interaction show next couple weeks, we'll get to that later. So stick around. I love my mashed potatoes and gravy, and Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. There was one year, it wasn't last year, it might have been maybe 5, maybe 6 years ago, and we were having Thanksgiving at my grandparents' house, and I was told from my parents every time I got to ask, you know, I'm a big fan of Thanksgiving. Like, hey, who's bringing mashed potatoes and gravy? Who's bringing mashed potatoes? Oh no, grandma's gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
Little do you know, grandma forgot to make some gravy. Grandma.
No.
So, yeah, God, it was
a capital offense.
Oh, dude, I was so mad. I was miserable,
dude. That's
I think what we did, I think we ended up going to KFC or something, just get a.
Is she still serving time for that?
Dude, it was pretty funny, man. But I love my grandma. But now, now moving forward, all these years, that anytime we have more Thanksgivings, either I'm in charge of the mashed potatoes and gravy, or I'm just responsible for the gravy. So
you gotta be careful about that.
Yeah. Don't even mess with my gravy, man. Stuffing and some gravy on it, and some mashed potatoes. Yeah. All for it. But see, that was a bad one for me.
Dude, I love dark meat. Gotta have that dark meat. My little sister and I will both take a leg, and we'll eat the whole leg. But I'll also, dude, I gotta have the roll with the turkey and gravy and some mashed potatoes in it. Thanksgiving sandwich. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you like the Thanksgiving sandwich day of or day after more?
Both. The answer is both.
Yeah, but which one do you like more? Gun to your head.
I don't know.
I would say for me after.
Yeah, I would say after, because I hadn't had it. Like, I just like, oh yeah, I get to keep having this.
Because if you have it, you need to have the full effect. You know, when you're on your plate, you're sitting down, you gotta have everything. You gotta have all.
I gotta be honest though. I'm after with that sandwich thing though, and I'm gonna go. You know, what everybody hates about turkey is one thing I love about it is that day after sandwich, especially with the white meat, where it's a little dry, and then you add a little bit of mustard to it, bro. And it's kind of cold in the morning with that, but the roll is warm.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Ooh, some mustard?
Love, dude. My turkey was so freaking moist this year, it was squirting. Dude, that shit was good. My turkey was good.
Everybody, in case you're wondering how you do it, that's how you get a clip right there.
That thing was farting.
The front and the back, dude.
My turkey came out. How do you guys cook your turkey? Just bake it like usual?
No, you deep fry it, man.
You deep fry it? You really?
Yeah, I've been roasting it in a roaster and basting it and putting like a bunch of vegetables like celery, carrots, and onions and garlic in the bird, in the cactus, and then afterwards you take a stick of butter underneath the skin, season that bitch up. You put that shit in the roaster. You baste that shit. Make sure that shit's moist.
The butter under the skin is like the key to a successful turkey. So it just fucking melts into the meat.
So good,
bro. It's the best.
Good. Yeah. And then I gave that I gave that bird a good seasoning, even though my family's very white. And my mom, pepper is too spicy for my mom. Like,
well, stop peppering it too much, dude. Don't be peppering it. It's fucking talking about peppering and squirting, dude. What's wrong with you, man? So moist, nasty, dude.
Dude, this is good. This is a good moist bird. Tell you what. But it's a good time. That was one of the worst Thanksgiving. Another one is I spent it in the hospital. One time. That was pretty bad.
Really?
One time we spent it, yeah. When my accident.
I actually don't know this story.
Yeah. Well, you know that I had an accident a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago, actually, this past month.
Oh, yeah. What's the head injury one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I bumped my noodle pretty good and spent some time up in the hospital. And I spent Thanksgiving in Phoenix. Actually, it was me and my sister. It is actually a pretty nice story. It was sad, but it was still a nice story. We were just kind of there, and we were both like just understanding that it was kind of a shitty situation, and I couldn't really get up, so I wasn't eating too much. But I was like, I made an exception for Thanksgiving, and we watched, I don't remember what, because I was so foggy, but we watched TV and we just kind of sat there and we were just like, it is what it is, but we're here together. So I love my sister. Shout out Rebecca. She'll never fucking listen to this. She doesn't like anything that I create. She hates our music so much, just as a side note. So
You hate your music so much, so
I do. I never like it.
that's the problem.
Yeah, it is a problem.
Keep trying to work with him on that one.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this new song that I just wrote, dude, you're gonna fucking love it. I love it so much. It's so funny and so good.
He'll love it until I hit record and he hears his voice.
And then, I'm like, nope, do it again.
Scratch it.
Do it again. Scratch it. Cut, print, roll tape, moving on. So yeah, Thanksgiving is a love-hate for me, but I like it when it's good. It's good to eat with good food with family. So it's good times. I can't believe I'm the only one though.
I can't add to a poor Thanksgiving story.
I know
really do not have one.
You're 2 for 2, man. I thought when we were talking about something funny or something happened, and
no,
the first thing you hit us with is the death.
Terribly depressing Thanksgivings.
We'll get
awfully,
man. Right, come on, man.
Greg's just a Debbie Downer.
I am a Debbie Downer. When I was 17, we spent one in a hotel room. And we had like
when I was 17. You had Boston Market things. Shut the fuck up. You did not have Boston Market Thanksgiving. Boston Market. No way.
Yeah, we did. It was delicious.
Hey, Boston Market's with the business. Too.
We were traveling. It was like in between. We were traveling. Like my grandma had died, so we were going to her funeral in Nebraska.
Jeez.
All right, let's all right. We're done talking about Thanksgiving, dude. Come on, let's get with the business.
I don't have that many more relatives.
Greg's depressing.
They all died on Thanksgiving, so we're gonna get into actual football now. And I'm the only one with anything to celebrate. You guys, I don't know why you're so eager to talk about the fact that Patrick, you got 1 point, and Chelsea, I think you lost
because I'm still 1 point behind and basically top of the league.
Yeah, you are.
It's fine.
There you are.
And I had a Champions League match last night as well. Or tonight as well. Well, I guess last night when they listened to this, that was just incredible. But yes, you're right. Brighton had a good game. You had a crazy game against Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest. Nottingham
against Forest. Forest wasn't
Forest. They team at least in the league.
Sheriff of Nottingham and Friar Tuck.
That's good. Yeah. What was it? 4-2, 3-2? What was it?
3-2.
3-2.
It was 3-2, Brian.
How'd you like? Who was it? Was Pedro scored twice?
Pedro scored twice.
Was it March? Oh no,
it wasn't March. It was I don't remember what his name was, but it was within the first few minutes.
Ferguson.
That's another Ferguson goal.
He just got it right in there, and then Nottingham came out swinging. They got the first goal, and it was a header. It was a nice header.
Yeah, it was like the first couple of minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the first few minutes, and we came back real
defending
quick.
On your end.
Yeah, absolutely shit. Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit. But then Ferguson comes in with that just little nice right in there, and then your boy João Pedro, he comes up and he gets it in there with a nice header. Just looked like a freaking laser beam right on in that goal.
Dude,
and then he went in.
I like that.
He went in for 2, but they tripped him, so he got a penalty kick, and that was fair. Full on, just fully right on in there. So then, but Forrest came back right at the end with another goal, and they weren't able to get any more than that. So we went. Nah.
That's good, dude. I thought I had saw something, or Patrick, maybe if you knew about in next month. In the January window about Evan Ferguson, about the transfer stuff about him. I thought I saw something about him from Brian. Was it Brian about his market value or something going up? Do you remember anything about that?
Me? No. But then again, I don't really get involved in like the transfer window that much in January because I guess historically City really hasn't done anything in the transfer window in January. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sure his market value has gone up because he had he had one hat trick and he's in a shining Brighton team. So yeah, his transfer value is going to go up, but he's still really young. I don't think he's fully
Yeah, he's like
developed yet. And I
18,
really something like
19.
that.
I mean, I don't think he's in his
Yeah.
20s.
I mean, look, Brighton doesn't need to be selling anybody in this January transfer window.
No.
Like they've got enough injuries to deal with. They can't really be selling anybody. If anything, they need to strengthen their squad until your injuries come back.
Yep. That's what they need to do. Need to
Mm.
keep it. Need to
Okay.
keep the momentum. Keep that fire burning. But it was a
That's
good one today. But Lewis Dunk got a red card there at the end. And
Oh,
it
it's
seemed
the
like some
dumbest red card
bullshit.
ever.
It seemed
It
like some
really is.
bullshit.
We're
Seemed
gonna get
like
into like refereeing and their decisions later, but that red card is such crap.
referees are the worst. I hate all referees.
I don't hate them. I just wish they would do a better job. And they rely, like we talked about with, was it not Ethan? I think we talked about with Ethan uh and sorry, I'm blanking on his name.
Who? When was it? Was it recently?
The
Crunk chocolate?
No, the Chelsea guy.
Oh, I
Matt,
don't know.
Matt.
Matt, yeah. Ethan and Matt, we were talking about, you know, the the refs are starting to rely on VAR too much. They're so terrified to control the game and make a right call that everything now goes to VAR and everything's checked and everything is overanalyzed and slows the pace of the game down. I just think, I mean, Dunk's red card's not that, but Dunk's red card is, yeah, he deserves a yellow for shouting at the ref while he's coming away from the VAR call. I don't have a problem with that. That happens all the time. You get a yellow card for dissent. It's the red card after, and who knows what he said. I mean, I'm sure he said something mean, but he's playing at an elite level pro football club that, yeah, I'm sure they say that shit all the time to each other.
Yeah.
And it doesn't warrant a red card.
Your mother
Further,
was an elderberry.
Monty Python reference. Is it
Yeah.
Monty Python reference? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Holy Grail, but that wasn't correct. It was your your mother was a.
It doesn't matter.
Damn it.
Anyways, um,
Your mother was a
the
hamster and your father smelled of elderberries.
that's what it was.
That's going to bother me
But
forever.
it's just like we've seen it time and time again. All three of our teams have seen a VAR call be terrible this season.
It's
And they take
trash.
way too long to decide things. They can't get, like, they got to bring out these stupid protractor lines for these offside rules that are minimal. And my thought on it is like, if you cannot look at it and in 30 seconds make a decision that it's a clear and obvious error, like, why are we sending it to VAR?
How has it been working all this time? How long has football been around? Thousands of years, apparently. It's been working
Yeah,
pretty
depending on
well up until
yeah,
that
with just
point.
humans. And
Yeah.
you had good, like, I mean,
Which is
look,
the whole fucking point. The human element. You'll never make
exactly,
it perfect. You'll never make it injury free. You'll never do all of that. There's probably
exactly,
some stuff to make it less injury prone, but not in European football, maybe in American football with the different helmets and the pads that they wear. But the European football, they don't wear any shit like that. So there's no point. Like, what's
I
the
just,
point?
like, I understand, like, I think there's a couple things they could do. And we saw it in the Champions League match tonight. And I know we're going a bit off script here, but it just kind of worked out in terms of going into VAR. But like tonight in the Champions League, there was a couple offside calls, I think, um, against Leipzig and against City. And they use the technology that they used at the World Cup, where it's sort of an AI technology. They do a quick check, and it's kind of like this. It's kind of like goal line technology, basically, where you can see it go. It's as simple they were on or they were off, and it takes 30 seconds, and the game goes on. Real easy. really clear on those tight calls. They don't have to break out lines or like zoom in or any of that stuff. And Greg, to your point, exactly, it's like a human element. Look, these are human players, and it should be. I
which is
understand
what makes it enjoyable to watch.
exactly, and in a split second, if somebody's toenail is offside, I understand that by the letter of the law that they are offside and that goal shouldn't count. But really, if it takes you a minute and you have to zoom in to like, blow up the image to see that,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what this game is about. That you're going to slow the game down. What's next? You're going to bring in like, challenges like they have in the NFL and review every single play. Like it's just going to
It's
there's a
what makes the
reason I fell in
NFL
love with the
so
sport.
very difficult to
Boring,
watch. Yeah,
boring,
it's
and
difficult because every single play is a flag.
it's
You know,
like we used
it's
to have.
bullshit.
Look, I guess to go back to it is being a ref is tough. It really is. Like it's a difficult job. And even when we didn't have VAR, like we still slandered refs, and that's kind of part of the game, I guess. But
Yeah,
like, so I understand. Like well, I guess I don't understand. I've never been a ref, but I do understand that that's got to be a challenging job, linesman and a referee, because you are being watched and the most hated person in
in the world,
a state of
rightfully so.
65,000 people. So
Rightfully
I
so.
get it. Like they need to do, but I don't remember us ever having this problem. And the refs in this, not in this country, the refs in England are absolutely complete garbage. Against Liverpool, like to roll into the Liverpool game, we had a perfectly legal goal ruled out for the softest of challenge on a keeper. That without VAR and with competent refs, that goal stands all the time.
Yeah.
Like we should have. I mean, and I don't want to blame our 1-1 draw on a ref call. Like we had
But you
plenty of
will.
opportunities to win that. No, I won't. We had plenty of opportunities to win that game, and we had plenty of opportunities to put them to bed. We just, in typical City fashion right now, we're just very not clinical in front of goal. I don't know what the problem is with that. I'm not sure how to really address that. But ultimately, that game should have been 2-1. Your penalty that they was given against Forest to me is soft. It's similar to the penalty that we talked about.
He kind of tripped
In
him.
the United game. He's
Are
kind of
you
dragging
talking
him
about
back.
the one on? Are you talking about the one against Joe Pedro? The one where he got the kick and he
No,
got
I'm talking
in?
the one that Forrest got.
Oh yeah, I thought that was a little soft. But
And this is
give
the
him-
other thing is like the angle that they showed for that penalty is complete garbage. You can't really
Mhm.
you can't really tell what's going on there. And I've seen that angle before. You're telling me with all the cameras in that stadium, you can't pull up a better
I
angle where
bet you have seen that angle before.
where it's literally the like behind the goal and you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
The images they said, I wanted to pull a clip up and post, or I wanted to pull a clip up of Gary O'Neill because the best example, and he put it perfectly. It was the Wolves game against the Wolves game, I think Monday night against Fulham, where they had a bunch of calls go back and forth. Everything went to VAR, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I just think it leads to referees leaning on this technology that enables them to be poor referees, and they don't have
What's the
controls
point of having
over
him?
again. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, you do have to have an on-field presence, I guess, but
Do you
I think they're going to be
just
going
put a
towards
speaker
going away
on the
from that.
freaking robot? That was offsides, mate.
You know what they're gonna have do. You guys ever see those horse races, the derbies, and how they're chasing around that
Yeah, there
little
you
thing.
go.
That's
There's a name for it.
there is. I can't think of it. But what they're gonna do, they're gonna use those things or that type of equipment and put it as the linemen's. So they'll see it right there, and then so now they'll take away the offsides. they're I think the referees now, and Patrick, you had mentioned, being a referee, how what they go through and all that stuff. So I'm going through the process of doing my lacrosse thing association to be a referee, and the first thing they tell us, and when we're doing these trainings, is, are you able to control yourself, is one of them. And another one is to deal with the fans, the coaches, the players, and shoot, there was something else too.
The moms.
The moms. But there's other things that are involved with it. If you can control your composure on that and make the correct call, and mind you, it's on the spot, dude. Like it can go on a second. And yeah,
Sure.
there's some plays that you are gonna miss because certain referees, like for instance on the cross side, we have 3 refs. Now in soccer or European football, you have only one dude who's looking at that, and you expect him to look at every single player being done on that. That's honestly, that's tough, dude. Especially with now, they're gonna have to rely on the VAR. And I kind of have mixed feelings about the VAR information on it. So it's more of having the call on the spot, dude. Like you see someone fall, automatic. Yeah, but you're gonna go with it. But you blew the whistle. You're the first one who's making that call at that time. So it's more of an instinct, and that's what they teach us in when you're doing this when to be an official is it's on the spot. If you miss it through 2 seconds, 3 seconds later, it's a blown call. Then that's when things start to ramble. How come you didn't call it 3 seconds earlier? How come you barely threw? How come you threw the flag up? There's all those mixtures of how that is. Now with this VAR stuff, it just gives them a set of eyes on is what I think is helpful. Now, yeah, it takes long and to have them, zoom in what they're doing. And I agree with you. They should have that call in a matter of a couple of seconds, like how you said about the World Cup issue with the AI technology stuff that they did. But I don't know, man. That's just my opinion. I don't know if it's me just bantering on. So, but yeah, that's how I feel about it, man.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a nice segue into the Chelsea game. Why don't we talk about the Chelsea game?
I'm not done with VAR yet. Like,
Oh, you're
I
not?
just think they've got to sort out what is.
They have to figure out something.
They do, because the problem is they have this rule where it's this clear and obvious error. That's how they define what they're going to look at it. And when we were told it was coming in, we were saying it's not going to disrupt things. It's not going to over referee matches. It's not going to overturn plays. Well, yes, that's all it does. Because how many times when they go to the monitor does a play gets overturned? Every single time. Not once have I seen a ref walk away from that monitor to say, no, I'm staying with the rule in my field. So who's really in charge? That ref on the field. And I agree. To your point, it's a split-second decision. And sometimes they're not always going to get it right. And look, even if we go back to non-VAR, we're still going to be pissed at refs and that calls don't go our way because that's the nature of the emotional call. I understand that. But geez, the things they're giving away, and I don't know, maybe they need to relook. I'd say they need to relook at the rules, but then they'll just fuck that up too. And then there's further conversation of them looking at yellow cards and corners, and that's just going to add to more and more delays. From what I've heard, the fans in the stadium aren't kept up to date on what they're actually reviewing. The PGMOL, who governs these referees, always come out with a BS statement. It's just not good enough. They need to do something better to. I think that, I guess, to wrap the VAR conversation up, I think this adds another layer. I don't know how to fix it, but I think at least for this offside thing, they need to go to an AI technology, and they need to stop zooming in on these one pick. Maybe he's off frame in 1 pixel, and so they call that off. And further, as far as the handball rule goes, they need to look at the handball rule as well and take into context of proximity and all of everything going on there. Just look at the Newcastle goal penalty that they got robbed today with. I don't know, man. It is slowly killing this fast-paced game that I fell in love with. And I frankly am tired of it. I mean, I know a couple episodes ago I said that VAR was overall a good thing, but I mean, it's starting to change my opinion with these calls. It's getting absolutely
Now
ridiculous.
it's not working out in your favor, so now you're
No,
gonna
that's not. It's not working out in any Premier League's team favor, Greg. It's not working out in any Premier League team's favor at all. So if you want to sit here and say it's just about me being a fucking City fan because it's not going my way, look, I've gotten good VAR calls this fucking season, and it's benefited me. And I'm sitting here saying that some of the VAR calls I've got should not have gone our way. It needs to go and it needs to be looked at, and it needs for the good of the game, for your team, for George's team, for even fucking United and Liverpool.
Hey, don't bring
It
Chelsea
needs to
involved
be
in this, dude.
changed. You've been victims of it too, I'm sure.
No. This is your banter segment. You're rambling, so I'll let you have your thing. But don't you dare talk about Chelsea.
don't you dare.
I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting on these things because especially with the people even getting involved about these VARs, about even with corner kicks and free kicks.
That's a terrible idea.
About extending on, and that's I think that was like, damn, that's soon. I apparently people are seeing things clearly what we're not seeing or what we're told as fans. I don't know, man. It's taken away officiating and I think with this, because it is one of the biggest sports in the world is soccer, because it's played throughout everywhere. They want to try it with soccer and then probably go down to American football, to baseball and everything. So this is probably up and coming. We're probably going to see this in the States as well, not just European soccer. It'll be MLS and American football and baseball. It's going to be interesting. So yeah, I agree. It is. I don't know. It's a toss up for sure. I mean, Chelsea had 9 VAR checks with when we played Tottenham, the Spurs, a couple weeks ago. I thought I'd share that with you since we're talking about the VAR. We had roughly freaking 10 checks on the VAR. 10, dude. 1-0.
Like Newcastle, that Newcastle game, they beat Arsenal. They checked for 3 different things. It's like, make a decision.
They had money on the game, dude.
Get it together.
Like, this is all, like, you can't go through a checklist every time there's a goal, because there's probably, like, I can run it back 3 minutes ago and probably find a foul in the buildup. Like, it's a contact sport. What do you want to? This isn't robots. It's humans. To go back to the initial thing that Greg said, this is a human sport. It's that human element that makes it exciting. So, but
we'll never get as excited about robots. It'll never happen.
Yeah, it's man, it's a struggle.
That's part of why we like sports, is people get fucked up. Let's just admit it. Part of that's not grotesquely fucking injured. I don't like boxing, for example, but like when there's like a big old bump or like a collision or something like that in hockey or on
a tight call or
like
whatever.
That.
Yeah,
or something like feeling. That. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, it's just come to the manager just throwing a challenge flag and
if that ever comes, the game's dead.
Go look at it. I don't know, man. It's interesting, but
yeah.
Well, you boys want to take a quick break and roll into. I mean, I kind of did game recap for Liverpool, but we want to take a quick break and wrap up with game recap.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, we'll be back.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Just Bits of Banter. We are back down. We're with the boys. And if we can just, I really want to keep talking about this VAR stuff. If we can just talk about it a little bit more, dude, Patrick and Greg, if what your thoughts are on that the Newcastle stuff that happened today.
Oh, dude, the handball. This is another thing is, like I was saying, they need to change that handball rule of what exactly it is. And further, all of you, go watch that supposed handball that gave PSG a penalty. in my life, that is never a handball. It literally hits his chest and possibly just brushes the inside of his arm. It doesn't affect the play. It's good defending. He's tight to his attacker, hits him in the chest, and it gets knocked down. And
But he get
Newcastle
up
were
again.
robbed. Newcastle was robbed their chance to being in the Champions League. I'm not saying they would have advanced because I think they needed to win both this game and the next one. But they outplayed PSG today from everything that I saw. I didn't get to watch the entire game, but everything I saw, they outplayed PSG, and they should be having an opportunity to advance. And now they're not because of VAR, because of a stupid, again, subjective call. Like, I guess this is the biggest problem. VAR is never going to work effectively in European football because it's too subjective with the rules and how they interpret it. But I will say back to the refereeing content and protecting them. I understand it's a tough job and you make things in split decisions. And I do think there's something to be said about not crowding them when they're making a decision. But George, we've talked about this before. I think they should institute where it's just the captains talking, and that's how they make their decision. And then the captains can go explain it to their team. They're still going to see an adjustment period. That's still going to take some time to work into the system there, but maybe that's the way forward. So you kind of can protect referees that way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Is it's not going to change the ref's decision when 5 people are surrounding him, 6 people are surrounding him. It's not going to change the decision. And what it's going to do is he's going to get his blood pressure up. He's like, hey, you got everyone coming at you, screaming, different languages coming at you because it's international, right? And I 100% agree. When those captains, they wear those C's for that reason, to only communicate with the ref. C for communicate, not captain. Captain, you just I don't know.
C is for suspension. Anyone who gets that is a real one. Nobody gets that. It's from The Office. I just ruined it.
I thought I had that too, but
sorry.
I just couldn't think of where it was from. I know I've heard it before though. I'm with you, but yeah, dude, Patrick, I 100% agree that these things, they have to make some changes on this. But man, they
gotta make some change.
We've been talking about this for God of all time, and so, but yeah, man. Anywho, if I can maybe transition to speaking of Newcastle, I mean Newcastle got the win against Chelsea, unfortunately.
Sure did.
They tore you guys apart.
They didn't tear us apart.
So yes, they did. And oh my God, I'm so glad you brought this.
No. So
I remembered what I wanted to say about the game, but go ahead, George, because Newcastle showed me exactly how to beat you and what's kind of wrong with City right now. But go ahead.
Dude. No. It's like you say, Newcastle just beat a mid-table team. So
it did.
And with a red card coming in from Reece James in the 70th second half of the game, playing down a player, they ended up scoring another goal, ended up being 4-1 Newcastle. Overall,
you had that free kick from Sterling though.
That was nasty. That was pretty bad. That was a good one though. I give him credit for that, but we still lost though. But it was nice. It was good style points. How's that? Style points for Sterling.
Yeah, but it doesn't help. Your entire back line was literally absent the entire game.
The whole Cucurella was terrible.
Oh, he was absent the entire game.
Thiago Silva was bad. Cucurella, he kind of was just he wasn't even there, dude. Like he's
a passenger. He's a passenger the whole game, bro.
And man, dude,
why'd you even sign him?
It's so frustrating, dude. And it's man, I can't believe he's just ball watching, dude. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? It's like you said earlier, we're in the Premier League with the top dogs. You need to be a top dog player. And from the looks of it, of yesterday, of the game for with Newcastle for Chelsea, there was Sterling played solid. You see Robert Sanchez falling on the ground multiple times. our goalie, and I don't know, man. It's freaking frustrating. And then Pochettino wasn't even in there because he was, he's serving his suspension, so he wasn't even down on the coaching line. And if I can just touch up on what he said, he said that was one, quote unquote, that was our worst game of the season. And he said, he said that we played with low energy, lack of intensity, lack of leadership, and it showed some leadership with Reece James. I love Reece James, but God, he made some very, very stupidity fouls, and now he's going to pay the price for it, and he's going to serve that game when we play against Brighton. So I don't know, man. It's very frustrating, and it made Newcastle get this win so easily with Chelsea, and what he said back to it is we're gonna get back to work, no days off. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating, especially because I don't know if it's like with Pochettino saying these things to heart. If these players even respect them, because by the way they played last week, this past weekend, it's like they don't belong there. And I know we had this international break, but some of these guys still play with their countries, and these guys who don't get rest, and jet lags plays a big factor in here as well.
No, I'm not going to allow that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow that as an excuse while you played poorly.
You can wait. So you can wait your turn. So then now it showed on the field of how they played and how on that stuff. So it was just god awful. Patrick, yes, you are correct. I'll let you have your big old time piece song. So it'd be okay, dude. But we still tied with you though, by the way. So shame on you.
Yeah, well, I mean, and congratulations for you on that. You tied on against us because of defensive mistakes. But what I was gonna say is like Newcastle. What I found interesting watching Newcastle versus Chelsea is exactly, I think, one of the frustrating things with City right now. Look how quick Newcastle played against you and broke your press, versus where City, I think we just play too slow right now. And we saw that tonight in the Champions League match where, they bypassed our press and then we're letting them get set. We play, and this is a Pep thing. And at one point during every season that I've been with Pep, I have this moment of frustration where we are playing way too slow and we are letting teams get set in their defensive shape. Newcastle just didn't even fuck around. They just went for it. I think the cross in for the first goal or second goal, they play it quick, they cross it in, they don't let your defense get set. And when teams come and they actually play and unsettle and play quick against you, I don't think you're defensively resound enough to do that. So the only thing I was going to say about jet lag is like everybody got international break and jet lag. So that's why I don't think that's an excuse.
Well, certain players can take it differently.
Agreed. Yeah.
Older,
I mean,
so I'm going to say that's a dumb statement, to be honest. It depends if you're older.
It's not a dumb statement, though.
Yeah, that is. You're talking about you have an older dude who's in the 40s. Let's just say, I'm going to say Thiago in his 40s compared to Holland, who's 21. Yeah, dude. Of course, he's going to take it differently.
What are we talking about, though? Are we really talking that much time difference? Are we talking like 4 hours? Because if we're talking anything less than 10 hours, honestly, that I kind of.
And did Thiago Silva even go away on international break? That's another question.
I'm just saying, of most of these guys who played during the break, of course, they're going to be.
Who in your team went on international break? I know Cole Palmer did, but that was, I think they played in Europe locally, and Cole Palmer's young, so that's by your logic not going to affect him. So Sterling wasn't on international break. That was in the news. That's why he had a great game. He's got a point to prove, which Sterling should be in that England squad, but that's a different conversation. But then again, England's already qualified and didn't need to go and win those games. So that's why they played rotated teams. But yeah, I don't think that But I think Greg has a better point there of we're talking like 10 hours, like Ederson, Allison, and Alvarez in the city side. Yeah, you've got a good point there. But I don't know what players you have that went out on international break. So I'm not gonna allow it. You had a poor game. You had a high of coming winning 4-4, or which is basically like a win for you guys, 4-4 against us, and then you get smacked back down to earth.
Oh,
And again, I'd also, here's the other thing: Newcastle has their own injuries. Their entire back line is not their starting back line. I looked at their injury list going into it. Their entire back line, they don't have Boatman, Byrne, or Tonali, which is like what made up their entire back line all last season. That's their starting back line. They've got a couple other ones out that are like, okay, youth players, but
well,
Well,
I'm going to defend them. So that's why I wanted to say it.
well,
that's fair.
that's fair. That's fair. You can be a delusional Chelsea fan and still think
I was, dude. I was trying to make that happen, dude. But oh well.
It's okay. It's all right.
smack
okay.
you down to earth.
What about
Sorry,
this year's? What happened?
we're-
What was the
Go
rest
ahead.
of it, Georgie?
No, that was it. That was all my complaining.
That's all you're complaining.
That's all my
All
complaining.
right. Well, then let's.
Well, realistically, are you going to? Will you go for like an FA? I don't know. Do you think you can win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup? You're still in those, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%.
I honestly think you need to go for the Carabao, bro.
100%.
I 100% agree. And it's like our friend Matt was saying, go out for a cup and Carabao. I know we had previously talked about this, but I agree. Or even like if we get like in the what do you call it? Not obviously not champions because we're nowhere near that right now, especially with how we've been playing. And it's gonna be interesting when we get how Nkoku comes back, if that helps, and how it gets in that mixture when he comes back from injury. So it's gonna be interesting how that comes in. But yeah, I would like to focus on the Carabao Cup. Honest, that's in my opinion.
Be a good game for you to win. You get a trophy in February. It would galvanize you. But you bring up an interesting point about you having injuries back. I know City's got some players coming back in the beginning of the new year. You know, and Greg, you've got injuries going into the new year as well. Like all these teams have injuries coming back, so I don't know, man. Like I don't know if you guys have felt like this, and we're all kind of in different places in the league right now, but this season's just felt for me like very weird and very just like I'm not saying I don't care about the Premier League, but I'll pose it to you. Has this season felt very weird to you because of all the injuries and it's kind of been, I don't know, feels like a calm season, honestly. Maybe that's just me coming off of what happened last season, but I'm just like I have no idea what's going to happen this season, and it's a total vibe right now. Like I'm so chill about the Premier League. Like I don't even know if we're going to win it, and I don't really care. I'm in this weird
It's
place
nice to
of
be here.
this. Yeah, like it's just a weird. Like everybody's got these weird injuries. Every team just kind of looks a little bit sluggish that should be doing well. And like you still have these fantastic, and exciting performances here and there, but it just kind of feels like this season is kind of putzed about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is kind of like a roller coaster during the season right now.
Yeah.
Especially with the injuries coming in. And I know, Patrick, I think you and I have talked about this recently about these injuries coming in and if they're, how they play on natural grass compared to the turf, or how these injuries come in, especially that we see a lot. So then we see a lot of it in the NFL.
But I think it's fixture congestion.
Yeah, because these injuries are a lot of injuries coming in, especially not just with European soccer, it's just everywhere right now. Like maybe they're just not getting the right proper training. So I don't know. It's it's going to be interesting how they get healthy or to get the proper training, nutritions. I don't know what they got to do is, or don't overtrain. Maybe I don't know.
No, I think it's probably a conversation for a different episode, but I do think that fixture congestion is a big factor in that because your star players are getting burned out way younger because they I mean they literally have like 2 weeks off. And if you have a summer competition, like there's all these international competitions, there's all these I think it's just fixture congestion. And there's only so
Mhm.
much you can do with the physios. I mean, a lot of these teams have elite physio teams. I mean,
Mhm.
excellent medical staff and all of that, but it's
No,
just
yeah,
tough. And at the
that's
end of the
fair.
day, what have we talked about that said multiple times on this episode? At the end of the day, these people aren't robots. And so, yeah, you're going to have, if you run them into the ground, and to your point, George, as they age, it gets harder and harder to
Mhm.
maintain that pace of
Yeah,
it's,
no,
it's 60, 70 games a season for these
no,
guys.
yeah,
So
hmm
that's a different conversation about how to address that. But I
yeah.
think that's the main
We
reason.
can tune in. Yeah, we can definitely tune in that another time because I'll like to touch that up too because it's a big gap on it. So, but anywho, Patrick, who do you got this going on this weekend, man?
I think I have Spurs at the weekend, don't I?
Oh, the hot Spurs.
Yeah,
Isn't who's it? Didn't they just announce someone that was injured?
yeah, they have another injury. I forget who it is, but they do have another injury.
Oh
So,
my god, is it McAllister?
dude, no, he plays for Liverpool. Remember, Madison's out for them.
Madison, that's who it was.
Yeah, which is a big
Couldn't think of
loss
his
for
name.
them. So look, I mean, it's a good. I hate to say it, but it's a good time for us to play Spurs, and with how well they were doing, and where we're at in terms of our play right now, it's a good time to play them. And I just am with again going back to how weird this season has been. I don't think we're going to go there and blow them out. Spurs is always a little bit of a challenge for us with how they
But you
play.
guys are playing at home though, aren't you?
We are, which helps us. If we were playing away, I'd be telling you we probably weren't going to score a goal. We're just cursed at that stadium. But with how this season has been, and with how inconsistent we've been right now, I think we're going to get the win just because their injury list is substantial with key players that cause a lot of problems and has been part of their success. But I think it's only going to be a 1-0 win for City.
Me a 1-0. Going be competitive. So you don't think it's gonna be competitive? Or excuse me, you think it's gonna be competitive then?
Yes, I think it's going to be. I think they're going to try and sit in, and I think we're going to play way too slow again, and it's probably going to be a 1-0 win.
Okay, great.
Oh, no.
Are you gonna piggyback on that?
I think so. I think I'll just piggyback.
Yeah, I was gonna actually say 2-0 on that one. City and Tottenham. I'll take City 2-0.
Yep.
And then the main event.
Main event.
Greg, we got Brighton.
Yep.
And
Chelsea.
Yep. It's gonna be a sad day for you, my friend.
Because a sad day.
Brighton's gonna win 3-1.
I don't know. Chelsea's been showing up for big teams, top 6 teams.
They'll show up. They'll be at the match. They'll carpool. They'll organize all that. They'll get there.
Remember, we're home too.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, Stamford Bridge is not a fun place to go.
You said 3. You said 2-1. Is that what you said?
I said 3-1.
2-0 Chelsea.
I will go a 2-2 draw.
It's actually probably the most realistic.
I like that outcome. We both get points.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
That's good, man. Yeah, we got our picks in.
At the picks in. Remind them where they can follow us on the Instagrams.
Thanks
on
for
the
that.
Twitters.
So you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at @BitOBanterPod. Any conversation about us, use the hashtag @BanterOn. And then finally, before we go, we have a very special announcement that means a whole lot to me, and I have to shout out George for setting this up. When I started this podcast way back when, and then further brought you guys on, this could only been the dream for me. But next episode, we are very, very excited to announce we will have the Noisy Neighbors on Bit of Banter Pod. And we're going to be talking about the Tottenham game, this season so far, and we're just going to have a grand old time. So very, very excited to announce that the Noisy Neighbors will be on the Bit of Banter Pod in episode 19. So look for that next week on Tuesday.
Hey,
And with that, Greg is going to
Don't forget
fall
to like,
asleep on me. It's past his-
subscribe.
like, subscribe. Thank you.
Yep.
He's still got enough in him to remind me to do that, say that. So like, comment, subscribe, just helps us get out there. And we will see you all in the next episode.
Gang, gang.
say you guys, peace.
Bye.